Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Movie Goodness, where we examine life through cinema here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and Hollywood has just had their big extravaganza, their combination of films from 2024, the best of the best, and this is our recap of the 97th annual Academy Awards ceremony, which took place on March the 2nd in Los Angeles. And it was hosted this year by Conan O'Brien. This was his first time being the host of the Academy Awards. And this was probably the first time in maybe 10 years that I watched it from beginning to end. Normally I'll start watching it and, it gets boring or is not entertaining in the least bit, which is kind of ironic, being as though we're celebrating entertainment at the highest level here, but for years haven't been entertained by this ceremony. But this year, I was entertained. I mean, we opened up with the rendition from Wicked with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. I thought that was a great performance. Of course, they couldn't nominate it because it's not an original song. We were just talking about the music here. The film was nominated, but they had to give acknowledgement to it. And I thought that was a real good touch. Conan O Brien, his opening monologue was really good. We had some tributes throughout the ceremony that was fairly entertaining. Of course, just like every year when we get to the memorial section of the ceremony, they left off a few names, and I scratch my head and wonder every year, how does this happen? How do you miss big names like this? They probably aren't big to everybody, but I noticed Tony Todd, the great actor who passed away last year, his name wasn't there. Michelle Trachtenberg, who just passed away last week, actually, I believe it's the same day as Gene Hackman. If it's not the same day, it was the day before or something like that. But they were close together. But her name wasn't on it. Robert Orca, his name wasn't on there, who passed away on the same day as well. And I understand Gene Hackman is the grand poobah of acting, and he deserved his, his own little section. But I'm just saying, you had time here because this was the one show or the one Academy Awards that didn't drag, didn't go over time. Actually, I think it finished pretty early in comparisons to previous years of this ceremony. But we had a lot of categories, 23 to be exact, 23 categories that were awarded at this ceremony. And we're going to go over them all. And at the end of our recap of the Academy Awards, we're going to review this year's Best Picture winner and the big winner of this year's Academy Awards, winning 5 total, Anora, which is a film written, directed, edited by Sean Baker and starring Mikey Madison. This award season had some how could I put it, some controversy, but it is not abnormal to have controversy when we talk about the Academy Awards. There's always, there's campaigning from the studios, there's mudslinging being slung around. It's real dirty. It's like a presidential campaign, but to the nth degree. And this year was no exception. This year we had some real bombs that dropped, concerning some real prominent nominees in this year's Academy Awards, namely Amelia Perez. Amelia Perez, which was the Netflix film, the musical, which starred Zoe Saldana and had some real momentum heading into the Oscar season. It had won at the Golden Globes for Best Picture. It was racking up other awards around the circuit. So it was gaining some momentum and possibly take home the Academy Award for Best Picture. A lot of people were predicting around this time. And just to put it out there, I did not like that movie. That movie, I don't even know why I was nominated. I'm gonna be real with you. I did not like Amelia Perez, and I don't understand all the love for it. Was it a interesting film, original film? Yeah, it was. Yeah, I appreciate it for that, but not to the degree of an awards caliber film that it was receiving. Now, we're going to talk about some of the nominations that it received and some of the wins that it received a little later, but uh this film got hit with a bomb. First, it started off with the director of this film. He stirred up a little controversy with some comments he made about the Spanish language, about the that is the language of migrants and poor people and stuff like that. So that was kind of that was kind of weird for him to come out with that statement, having made a film in Spanish, and he's French. And so it's weird that he would make that statement. Now, of course, he backtracked it sometime after that, but it quickly got overshadowed. Thinking that that was going to be the big controversy of it all, but no, it got overshadowed when the lead of that film, the female lead of that film, Carla Sophia Gaston, old tweets came up, resurfaced just out of the blue, conveniently during this Oscar race, and she being nominated for Best Actress in a Lead Role for Amelia Perez. Not to mention the first trans woman to be nominated in this category, if I'm not mistaken, completely overshadowed that, completely poo-pooed on that big moment for that community by these tweets that she has put out in the past. Now, everybody deserves a second chance. Everybody deserves the opportunity to atone for their sins, if you will. She didn't do that. She didn't do that, and it just made it worse. Now, she expressed her she expressed that she regrets that they came out, that they resurfaced, but she never expressed her regret for ever feeling that way. Never expressed her regret for putting them out there when she did. She was just upset that they resurfaced. And it just made it worse, man. That made it worse. Now, we're not going to go over all of the stuff that she said on today's show. We'll probably do that for a whole nother show. But if you want to know what Carla Sophia Gaston tweeted about and talked about, even in interviews recently, concerning her tweets, just Google it. Google it. It's everywhere. It's disgusting. I mean, racist stuff. I mean, just racist. How can you be racist in your position? It blew my mind. And a lot of people feel that was the reason that this film was not celebrated as much as it was in previous award shows. It didn't get much love at the Academy Awards this year. It did win 2 that I know of, but other than that, every other category, it was pretty much shut out. But me personally, I feel it was the right decisions anyway, because it wasn't that good of a movie. It really wasn't that good of a movie to me. But let's go over the nominees. All 23 nominees and the winners of the 97th Annual Academy Awards. Let's begin with Best Visual Effects. This was the toughest category out of the entire awards. I was sitting there like, man, I have no idea who's going to win this because all five nominees deserve a trophy. Uh, our nominees are Wicked, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Better Man, Alien Romulus, Dune Part 2. The winner of Best Visual Effects at this year's Academy Awards, Dune Part 2. And I can't get mad at that. That movie made me believe that Timothy Chalamet was riding a sandworm. I was like, where did they find that sandworm and how did he ride it? That's how great the visual effects were for that film. All the other nominees had some outstanding special effects as well. My dark horse in this category was Better Man. I thought the visual effects was outstanding. You know, it was weird to have two films in this category nominated for best visual effects that deal with apes. You know, with Better Man and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. But I thought that Better Man did a better job of their visual effects of that ape. It looked great. You know, the movie, but I loved the visual effects. And that's not to say that the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes didn't have awesome visual effects as well. But ultimately, at the end, we didn't have to decide between the two apes. It came down to Doom Part 2, winner of Best Visual Effects. Best Film Editing, Wicked, Amelia Perez, Conclave, The Brutalist, and Anora. The winner of Best Film Editing goes to Anora. And I you know, we're gonna talk about Anora a little later, but the editing, uh, I don't know. I don't know. Now I haven't seen The Brutalist. You know, full disclosure, I've seen 85% of the films that were nominated. Unfortunately, The Brutalist just didn't get there with me. I couldn't carve 3 hours out to watch The Brutalist, but it looks gorgeous. I just haven't watched it yet. But all the other films, Amelia Perez, don't know why that was in here for editing. The editing, I didn't. That's one of the things that I absolutely that just disgusted me in this movie. But it was nominated. But it came down to Anora, I'm sorry, as the winner for best film editing. We move over to best costume design. Our nominees: Nosferatu, Gladiator 2, Conclave, A Complete Unknown, and Wicked. The winner for best costume design went to Wicked, and it was touching that the winner, the costume designer Paul Taswell, first black man to win in that category. Shouts out to him. I love the Wicked. I love the costume designs. It was every costume told a story, but you could say that about every other film here. I felt my dark horse pick was Nosferatu. I thought it was some of the best costume designs in film in a long time. It just, I mean, you felt like they went back in time, went to Sears and bought all of those clothes and brought it back to 2024 so they could film that movie. It looked seamless, seamless. I mean, I'm not mad at Wicked, but my pick would have been Nosferatu. But congratulations to Wicked for winning Best Costume Design, Best Makeup and Hairstyling. This category, we had Wicked, Nosferatu, Amelia Perez, A Different Man, and The Substance. The winner, The Substance. The Substance, I mean, it's hard to argue with it. Once again, Nosferatu probably would have been my pick, but I'm not mad at The Substance. The Substance, I mean, it was a body horror movie. So The way they pulled off that body horror with the makeup effects, I mean, you can't argue it. It was very disgusting at times, and I loved every minute of it. But uh, it was worthy of that honor. But I would have went with a, I don't know. I probably would have went with a tie there with Nosferatu. Nosferatu, I know it had a lot of nominations, and just a spoiler here, didn't win none. But it's the most slept on movie of last year, I felt. And didn't get the love it deserved. Yeah, it's an honor to be nominated and all that, but so much effort went into it. And that's kind of a weird thing to say because every movie, I don't care if it's dog trash, I, as much as I'm ragging on Amelia Perez, there's a lot of work that went into that movie. You know, a lot of hard work, sweat, blood, tears went into that movie. I'm not poo pooing on the people who put in all that effort. You know, everybody puts in effort to make these movies, and it just Nosferatu looks like, I don't know, man. That just it just you can see the love on the screen. But once again, like I said, not mad at the substance. It deserves the love that it's gotten. Winner of best makeup and hair styling. Next category is best cinematography. We have The Brutalist, Doom Part 2, Amelia Perez, Maria, and Nosferatu. The winner of best cinematography goes to The Brutalist. Uh, what's his name? Lowell Crawley. Um, like I said, I didn't see The Brutalist, but going by the clips that I saw, my God, it looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. Once again, you know, this was a toss up. Nosferatu, Doom Part 2. Uh, Either one of those three, I would have been cool with. You know, and it end up going with The Brutalist. I can't get mad at it. It looks gorgeous. I ain't even have to watch the entire movie to see that. The cinematography looks flawless in that film. And congratulations on the victory. Best production design. Your nominees are Wicked, Conclave, The Brutalist, Doom Part 2, and Nosferatu. The winner of Best Production Design goes to Wicked. That was kind of a no-brainer. I picked that one. That was probably the only one I got right out of the 23 nominees in the ceremony. But yeah, the production design was just amazing for Wicked. Deserves that award. Our next category is Best Sound. And this is the second one I got right. I did pick this one too. Your nominees were A Complete Unknown, Doom Part 2, Amelia Perez, Wicked, and The Wow Robot. I thought The Wow Robot was a real a real surprise because this is an animated film. You know, normally you don't see animated films nominated for best sound, but it did have good sound in that movie. I enjoyed The Wild Robot. But ultimately the winner of best sound in this year's Academy Awards went to Doom Part 2. This was a no-brainer. No-brainer. The sound in the movie was a character within itself. Oh man, I mean, every little nuance you heard it. If depending on where you went to see it in the theater or what type of uh home theater system you have, you can hear everything going on around you. You feel like you're on this planet, you know, and you all your senses are at high alert. I love the sound design for this film. Doom Part 2, the winner of Best Sound. Best Music, Original Song. Like I said a little while ago, I know a lot of people were confused why why we didn't get Wicked in this category. Why Defying Gravity is not in this category. What's going on? It's not an original song. Of course, Wicked is based on a Broadway play. So those songs are not original that were in the film. So that's why we didn't get a nomination in this category for that film. But we did get 5 other nominees. Never Too Late from Elton John, Never Too Late. Mia Camo from Amelia Perez, Like a Bird from Sing Sing, The Journey from the 388, and El Mai from Amelia Perez, which was the winner of Best Music Original Song. It, I didn't care for the music in Amelia Perez, so I really can't say that I disagree or agree with the pick. I'm gonna be honest and fair about it. But the reality is I didn't hear any of the other songs. I don't know what the other songs, so I can't compare them and say that, oh no, it shouldn't have won this. I'm gonna take their word for it on the music. I'm gonna take their word on it on the original song. And so, congratulations to Amelia Perez on that victory. Best music original song, best music original score. We have The Brutalist, Conclave, Amelia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. Your winner for best music original score goes to The Brutalist, and that was conducted by Daniel Bloomberg. Didn't see The Brutalist, so I don't know. But I do know, of course, Wicked had some great music throughout. It's a musical, of course. The Wild Robot was my dark horse. Beautiful music throughout that film. I loved that movie. I mean, I really do. The further I get away from it, from when I first saw it, I appreciate it more. And that's how you know you saw a good film, when it sticks with you, and The Wild Robot stuck with me, and it's still here. And I can't wait to watch it again. My daughter hasn't seen it, and she wants to see it, so that's my excuse, quote unquote, to watch it again. But congratulations to The Brutalist winning Best Music Original Score. Best Animated Short Film. I saw none of these, so I'm going to take the Academy's word on these and run with them. Your nominees was Beautiful Men, Magic Candles, In the Shadow of the Cypress, Wanda to Wonder, and Yuck. The winner of Best Animated Short Film, In the Shadow of the Cypress. Congratulations to the winners of Best Animated Short Film. Best Live Action Short Film, just like the animated short film, did not see any of these either. So we're going to hang on the word of the Academy. Your nominees were Aileen, Anyor, The Last Ranger, The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent, and I'm Not a Robot. Who is your winner of Best Live Action Short Film, I'm Not a Robot? Congratulations for winning Best Live Action Short Film. Documentaries. We have 2 categories that celebrate documentaries. Best Documentary Short Film. Your nominees: Death by Numbers, I Am Ready, Warden, Incident, Instrument of a Beating Heart, The Only Girl in the Orchestra. The winner of Best Documentary Short Film goes to The Only Girl in the Orchestra. Congratulations on winning that award. Moving over to Best Documentary Feature Film. Your nominees are The Black Box Diaries, No Other Land, Porcelain War. I believe that's how you say it. Porcelain War. Soundtrack to a Coup, and Sugarcane. Your winner for Best Documentary not live, but Best Documentary Feature Film, No Other Land. Congratulations to those gentlemen. And I want to see this. I actually want to watch this not short, but this documentary about the Palestinian people, uh, that sheds a light on their situation. So I'm looking forward to watching that. I'm The older I get, the more I get into documentaries, and I was super excited for that category because that always lets me know what to be on the lookout for coming up. And this is one that is definitely on my radar. We move over to the best international feature film. This category celebrates films from all over the world. Our nominees are Amelia Perez from France, Flo from Liberia, The Girl with the Needle from Denmark, I'm Still Here from Brazil, and The Seed of a Sacred Fig from Germany. Your winner for Best International Feature Film goes to I'm Still Here from Brazil. I want to see this. Uh, that was kind of put on my radar about a month ago, and started reading some reviews on it, and I went and looked up some clips from the film, and it looks very interesting. And so I'm very intrigued by that. And so I'm happy that it did win Best International Feature Film. That pretty much amens the fact that I got a good film to look forward to here. Well, not necessarily. That don't Just because it wins doesn't mean it's great. We've seen this in the past, but I was already excited before it won, but it looks like it was well deserving. So I'll judge it for myself in the next couple of days or a week or so. I'm Still Here from Brazil wins Best International Feature Film. We move over to Best Animated Feature Film, and once again, another tough category. I had a couple of films in here that I would have picked or chose as best animated feature film, and it was a tough race. Your nominees are Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Flow, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. Your winner for Best Animated Feature Film is Flow. Flow is a movie I want to see. I can't wait to check it out. I want to check out this movie. I saw it advertised on Max, I believe, one of these apps. I saw it pop up, and I was going to watch it, but life got in the way, and I couldn't. I never went back to watch it, but I do plan to watch it. It looks really good. Um, Without seeing that, my picks would have been either Inside Out 2 or The Wild Robot, because those two films touched me emotionally in a way that I didn't think that I was going to receive. The love, the feelings that I've that I didn't think I was going to receive from watching those two films last year. They really tugged on my heartstrings, and I enjoyed them. But I am looking forward to watching Flow, your winner for Best Animated Feature Film of this year. Moving over to the writing categories, two categories for original screenplay and adapted screenplay. Let's start off with adapted. Your nominees for Best Writing Adapted Screenplay: The A Complete Unknown, Amelia Perez, Nickel Boys, Sing Sing, and Conclave. Your winner for Best Writing Adapted Screenplay goes to Conclave. I still haven't seen Conclave, and I was so excited when I first saw the trailer. I think early 2024 when I saw the trailer for that. I was like, man, I want this. I need this in my life because I'm a huge Ray Fiennes fan. Going all the way back to Strange Days, man. Strange Days, Schindler's List. The list goes on and on. The dude is phenomenal, and I wanted to see it. Never got around to watching it, but judging the dialogue from the trailers and the other promotional material coming from this film, I can tell it was well written. The dialogue seemed to be on point there. So it's no shock. Even though I didn't see the movie, it did not shock me that Conclave won Best Writing Adapted Screenplay. Congratulations to that film. Best Writing Original Screenplay. These are original stories that the world clamors for, but never goes see. It's mind-boggling to me. But your nominees are The Brutalist, Anora, A Real Pain, September 5, and The Substance. All all awesome films. I didn't see The Brutalist, but I did watch the others. The winner for Best Writing Original Screenplay goes to Anora. Um, like I said, we're going to review it in a few minutes, so I'm not going to go into depth. But congratulations to Sean Baker on that victory for Best Writing Original Screenplay. Moving into our acting categories, we're coming down to the end here. Best Actress in a Supporting Role. We began with Monica Barbaro for The Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez, and Isabella Rossellini for Conclave. Your winner for Best Actress in a Supporting Role goes to Zoe Saldana. No shock. She's won every award leading up to the Academy Awards for that film. Once again, did not enjoy the film. She was good in it. She was really good in it. But Zoe Saldana is good in everything. And arguably, this wasn't her best. I guess my big beef with this wasn't even her best performance. It was a good performance, but it wasn't her best. I've seen her in better roles. I've seen her in meatier roles, but I get it. I understand why she won. I'm not saying she's undeserving because I think she did a good job. She's the only reason to watch that movie. That's the only reason I watched the movie is because of Zoe Saldana. Otherwise, I wouldn't even watched Amelia Perez. But she kept that film together. Kind of shocking that she's the supporting role. Once again, I get it, the politics of it all, but she was more the lead than anything because she carried that film. And kudos to her, well deserving throughout her career. This shouldn't have even been her first, as I said hinted to earlier. She should be working on her second or third right now. But congratulations to Zoe Saldana, Best Actress in a Supporting Role for her role in Amelia Perez. Best Actor in a Supporting Role, we have Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, Karen Culkin for A Real Pain, Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice, and I'm going to attempt to say his name, Yuva Borisova for Anora. And I apologize for butchering his name. I am horrible with Russian names. Horrible. Charge it to my head, not my heart. I do deeply apologize. But the winner of Best Actor in a Supporting Role goes to Karen Culkin for A Real Pain. When he walked up the stage, my mind just blew because I'm like, man, I never would have thought that a Culkin would win Best Actor. One of the Culkins from Home Alone, because he was in Home Alone, he was the little brother, would win an Oscar. But he did it. And Karen Culkin, God bless him. I'm not going to say he's my favorite Culkin, but he's my favorite Culkin. My only knock for him winning is that he's the same in everything. There's no difference in Karen Culkin that you've seen in Succession, that you see in A Real Pain, that you've seen in other films that he's popped up in, that you see in A Real Pain. One of my favorite performances of his was Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and he's the same. He's the same in everything he's in. And I'm not knocking it because I love him in everything that he's in. He fits the role. He fit that role in a real pain. And so I understand it. But Guy Pearce and Edward Norton more so because I actually saw that performance. But Guy Pearce, he had that presence in the trailers for The Brutalist. I gotta watch The Brutal. I really gotta sit down and carve out an entire day to watch The Brutalist and see how that turns out. Jeremy Strong in The Apprentice was phenomenal, and honestly, he was my dark horse. He was the one that I thought would take home the award with the upset victory, because it's no shock that Karen Culkin won. He, just like Zoe Saldana, was racking up awards leading up to the Academy Awards, so didn't shock me. But I thought that Jeremy Strong would come on strong in the end, but ultimately he fell short. But congratulations to Karen Culkin, winner of Best Actor in a Supporting Role, and also congratulations to his wife, because apparently she has to pop out two more children because of the deal that they made. But moving over to the lead role, the best actress in a leading role, we start off with Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Carla Sofia Gaston for Amelia Perez, Demi Moore for The Substance, Mikey Madison for Anora, and Fernanda Torres, I'm Still Here. Your winner for Best Actress in a Leading Role goes to Mikey Madison for Anora. Congratulations to that young lady. I mean, bruh, to think the first time I saw her was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and she was in scenes with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio and stole it. That was her announcement to the world, and I knew then it was something special about her, and I enjoyed her in that movie. Just the little while that she was in it, I enjoyed her so much. Uh, to go from that to be in one of the Scream films, I couldn't tell you which one. Was it six? I can't remember. There's so many of them, but she was in that. It was a good role in that as well. And next thing you know, boom, she's in this film, winning Best Actress. Good job for her. My dark horse for this category would have been Demi Moore. I thought Demi Moore gave a pretty good performance here, and it wasn't. I don't think it outshined anybody else. To be completely fair, I just thought more of a legacy win. Just like they gave to Jamie Lee Curtis, because she didn't. Jamie Lee Curtis should not have won that year. It should have went to Angela Bassett, but they gave her a legacy award. Nobody can tell me different. Nobody is going to convince me that her performance in Anything Everywhere All at Once was better than Angela Bassett's performance in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Sorry, can't. We're not going to do that. And Jamie Lee Curtis had it was a good performance. I'm not hating on her or hating on her performance. Like I said, it was a good performance. It just wasn't better than Angela Bassett. I'm sorry. And here, I can honestly say, Mikey Madison's performance was better than Demi Moore's. I just thought that they were going to do that again and give her a legacy win. Carla Sofia Gaston, she killed any chance of winning that award with all of that controversy that popped up leading up to this ceremony. But congratulations to Mikey Madison, winner of Best Actress in a Leading Role. Moving over to Best Actor in a Leading Role, your nominees are Timothy Chalamet, A Complete Unknown, Carmen Domingo for Sing Sing, Ralph Fiennes for Conclave, Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, and Sebastian Stan in The Apprentice. Your winner of Best Actor in a Leading Role goes to Adrian Brody for The Brutalist. Congratulations. That makes him a two-time Best Actor winner. He won for The Pianist what that was, 12, 13 years ago. I forgot when it was, but congratulations to him for that. My dark horse would have been Ray Fiennes. I thought this was his year. I really did. I thought this was his year. But like I said, haven't seen The Brutalist. Can't fairly judge if this was the right decision or not. So I'm not going to touch that. But all of these gentlemen did a phenomenal job. Carmen Domingo was great in Sing Sing. I mean, Sebastian Stan as Donald Trump. I hated him for a long time. That's how good he was in that role. And Timothy Chalamet, he's going to get his. Eventually, he's going to get his. This dude is phenomenal. I'm on board. I'm Team Timmy. I'm all in when it comes to Timothy Chalamet. Whatever he touches is gold in my eyes. But this year, the crown goes to Adrian Brody, winner of Best Actor in a Leading Role. That leads us to our two final categories of this ceremony. Starting off with Best Director, we have Sean Baker for Anora, Brady Corbett for The Brutalist, James Mangold, A Complete Unknown, Jacques Adore, he's French, can't get that name down either, for Amelia Perez, and Colleen Forgat for The Substance. The winner for Best Director, Sean Baker for Nora. Congratulations to him. I mean, he should have won. I mean, he did everything. This was a true independent film. He did everything. He wrote, he directed, he edited, he casted, he did everything. And so good on him. Congratulations, winner of Best Director. That gives us our final category of the ceremony, and it is none other than the 10 nominees for Best Picture. Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Doom Part 2, Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. Those are your nominees for Best Picture. Your winner, in what I would consider an upset, Anora, for Best Picture of the 97th Annual Academy Awards. I say an upset because you had some juggernauts in this category, 10 different films, but I think that's probably the reason it won, because you had 10 films. A lot of votes got spread around, as opposed to years past when it was just 5. Now we're at 10, and those votes don't hold the impact that they did back in the day. Me personally, out of these 10 films, it was a toss-up between Doom Part 2 and The Substance. That's without me seeing The Brutalist. And now The Brutalist is what you would consider an awards movie. That's a movie that's made to win Academy Awards. It didn't happen this year. This was so odd. This was an odd award show. And I think that's why I was so entertained by it, because it was kind of surprising in a sense. It wasn't your typical wins. It really was spread around. Despite the fact that Nora won 5 awards, but everything else was kind of spread around. Everybody got a little love. The Brutalist did win for cinematography and score, and Doom Part 2 won for visual effects. The Substance won for makeup, and it's so on and so forth. One of the biggest shocks, A Complete Unknown was completely shut out. They didn't win nothing. I think Conclave won 1 for screenplay, but that's it. There were shutouts. The Nickel Boys was shut out. Wicked didn't win any major awards. And I have a theory on the Wicked of it all. Wicked is probably a victim of the fact that it is part one. Just like Doom. Doom part one didn't get any love because of Doom Part 2 coming down the pipe. But it's hard to make that argument because Doom Part 2 didn't really set the world on fire as far as the awards are concerned, I mean. And I guess maybe because they know Doom Part 3 is coming out. It's that Lord of the Rings kind of trope. Lord of the Rings, the first two Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring and the Two Towers didn't win nothing. As far as best picture and major categories, it didn't win. They waited till the final film, and that's when it won. Return of the King. That's what won best picture. And me personally, I don't think that's the best one out of the three, but they celebrated it in its totality with the final film, and gave it the award. Trust me, this is Hollywood, people. It's Hollywood. They have a plan that they put in place. Not every movie is deserving of these awards. Case in point, Moonlight. Moonlight still to this day upsets me that it won. It that's one of the that's when I really stopped watching the Academy Awards. From beginning to end. I could not wrap my head around the fact that it beat La La Land. I could not wrap my head around. And as you could tell, still haven't let it go. I still can't. Moonlight was a good movie. It was really, really good. It did not deserve to win Best Picture, and definitely did not deserve to win Best Picture over La La Land. I'm sorry. I can't let that go. But this year's, it's up for debate. There's another one that you're probably going to think back in a few years and be, should it have won? Another one, Green Book. Green Book won Best Picture a couple of years ago. I didn't like Green Book. And plus, when all of the stories came out about the Green Book, and the families of the actual people came out and said, nah, that ain't how it went. It just sullied the film, and I just could not get on board with that. But Anora, we'll see. We'll see. But I feel this is a great opportunity, a great time, a good segue into our review. Our review of this year's Best Picture winner at the 97th Academy Awards. It is none other than Anora, an American romantic comedy drama written, directed, produced, and edited by Sean Baker. It stars Mikey Madison as Anora, a young scripper who impulsively marries the son of a wealthy Russian businessman. I saw this movie on a whim. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't see any trailers. Couldn't tell you who was in it. Didn't know nothing. I was hearing about it, but nothing that drew me to it like, man, I got to watch Anora. So I went into this blind. I mean, I was Ray Charles blind going into this movie. And my God, I'm like, man, I didn't know this was about a stripper. I didn't know this was going to focus heavily on the sex workers, in their profession. I didn't know this. I had no idea. And so I would say, I ain't even gonna say 5 minutes in, the opening shot of the movie, you're in the script club. So you're like, I'm like, okay, so we're doing this. But I thought, okay, once we move past all this, we getting a different type of movie. No, this movie is like that the entire time. Not mad at this is not a knock. I'm just throwing that out there too. This is not a knock. I just didn't know the shock that came over me when I watched it. I was like, man, oh, so it's this type of movie? I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, once again, I'm going into this, I'm thinking this was going to be a super serious movie. And it was for a good portion. And then it got funny. The movie actually got hilarious. And I was hoping, because Mikey Madison is in this film, and I really, I stated earlier, I really do enjoy her her work. I thought she was hilarious, unintentionally hilarious, I think. In Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, also in the Scream film, she is funny. And so I wanted to see that, and I was hoping to see that, but I understood if she wanted to try something different, something new, something serious. And sure enough, this film is a great mix of all of that. This movie is really good. It is really, really good. Do I feel it should have won Best Picture? I can't fairly say yeah. And I can't fairly say no because I did not see The Brutalist. Um, that's the one caveat. But if you take The Brutalist out of it, out of the discussion of it all, and me knowing the other films, no, no, it shouldn't have won. And I think it's really good. Is it worthy of a nomination? I think it is worthy of its nomination. I don't think it should have won. Um, had some awesome performances. Everybody in this film did an excellent job with their roles that they were given. They elevated those roles. They elevated the movie. The editing that Sean Baker won an Academy Award for, very confused by that. The reason I'm confused by that is because this movie is kind of uneven. It didn't have a real flow. Uh, we didn't really get to the flow of it till about an hour in. Once you hit like the hour mark, the movie really starts picking up. Cause I was scratching my head, the first hour of this movie, and I was still in it. I wasn't out of it. I wasn't like, oh my God, I wish this would be over with it or anything like that. But I was like, where are we going with this story? And that was my feeling at the hour mark. But once we hit the hour mark, I was like, okay, the business has picked up. This is very interesting because we didn't have any real conflict until then. And once we were presented with the actual threat of the movie, that's when it picked up. But you had to wait so long to get to it. I think we spent way too much time setting up the film. Way too much time. They could have cut. I think this movie is about 2 hours and 20 minutes long, something like that. They could have easily cut 40 minutes out of this movie and made it a little tighter. Then you can make an argument. I will switch my views on it. Like, yeah, this is Best Picture, because it's tight. It's tight. Where we start, middle, finish, and it's all and popping. And I would enjoy it because I was enjoying what I was seeing. It was just so much and a little unnecessary at points. There were scenes in here that was just filler scenes, and I'm like, why are we filling in a movie that's over 2 hours? It's over 2 hours long. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't watched The Brutalist yet, because it's 3 hours long, and I didn't want to subject myself to that. And this movie, it was that length for no reason. Could have been wound up just a tad bit tighter. Uh, the direction was good though. That Sean Baker, he rightfully deserved his nomination and win for best director. I think it was shot fairly well. You know, as much as I'm ragging on the time of it, like I said, never got bored. I didn't get bored in this movie. Even though that this is a movie that has no action, there's no explosions, there's no exotic locations and all this here. This is a true independent film, shot independently, but it wasn't boring at all. The character work here, the dialogue here really kept you invested, even though we're bouncing forth from English to Russian throughout the film. You could still keep up, even though you had to read. You had to do some reading, but you can still keep up with the story, and you're willing to go down this road with Anora, with this character. And man, what a ride we went on. Literally. if you If you watch the film, you get that joke. But anyways, I did enjoy this movie. I don't hate it. My only thing is I don't know. I can't honestly say it deserves to win Best Picture. Maybe it needs to sit a little while, another year or so. Another rewatch, and maybe I'll feel a little differently as far as it being considered a Best Picture winner. But I can say this: it was a really good movie. Mikey Madison did an excellent job in this role. The other actors did an excellent job as well. And I think you walk away from this film feeling like you was a part of something. I felt like I was a part of something when I walked away from this movie. I don't know what it is, but it feels like it was something special, and ultimately it came to fruition at the Academy Awards this year when it won Best Picture. Anora, winner of 5 Academy Awards, gets a letter grade of A minus. Yeah, I think the only thing is just the length, man. A, a little more tighter of a story. A little didn't have to be 2 hours or 2.5 hours or however long it was. It didn't have to be that long. I think they could have trimmed down just a little bit more of that fat and made it a little bit tighter, and it would have been just perfect in my eyes. But at the end of the day, hey, it's all subjective. Maybe you enjoyed every single frame of this movie. I know teenage boys will. But in any event, your winner for Best Picture and the winner of the awards, if you ask me, 5 Academy Awards. Overall, it won Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Original Screenplay, Best Film Editing, and Best Director. It also racked up at the British Academy of Film Awards. It won Best Casting and Best Actress. It was named one of the top 10 films of 2024 by the National Board of Review and the American Film Institute. Just to put it all in perspective, because we'll be here till next Academy Awards, the 98th Academy Awards, listing all of his awards recognition, but it won 75 total awards throughout this award season, and it was nominated for 193. Congratulations to Sean Baker, to everybody, cast and crew who was involved in that film. Uh, yeah, this was a really good Academy Awards, as I stated earlier. Really loved the opening monologue by Conan O'Brien. I loved the bits that he had throughout the show. The tributes were outstanding. With the in memoriam, of course, the tribute to Quincy Jones was awesome. But the one that stole the show for me personally, and this was something that just I had tears in my eyes, honest to God, and it was the tribute to the Broccoli's. In case you don't know the story, the producing family that owned the rights to James Bond since the beginning, and they sold the rights just last week before last, to Amazon, and so they're no longer involved. They have their name on it, but they're no longer involved in the actual filmmaking portion of the James Bond mythos. So they did a tribute to them, and it just touched my heart going back listening to uh their performances. And I didn't like the I didn't like the performances, but I loved the way they went. That I got the point. But I didn't like the performers that they picked. Doja Cat and uh Rain. I think Ray. I don't know these. My daughter knew who they were. Oh, Dad, that's the girl from Blackpink or whatever. I'm like, I don't listen to K-pop. I don't know who that is. But anywho, I get the point. It was a good tribute. Diamonds Are Forever and Live and Let Die and Skyfall. Those was awesome picks to have that little performance. Thought it was cool. It had to have Margaret Qualley started off with that dance number. I thought that was awesome as well. There was some really good moments in the show. And of course I mentioned it earlier, but the opening uh with Wicked with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. That was excellent as well. And it was a tight show. It wasn't a long, drawn out ceremony that we've gotten in the past. And so that was a breath of fresh air as well. But that was my recap of the 97th Academy Awards, as well as the review of the winner of Best Picture at this award show, Anora. I would love to know, did you enjoy the awards? Did you think everybody got their just due? Did Anora deserve to win Best Picture at this year's Academy Awards? Or do you think it was somebody else? I would love to know your thoughts. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to movie goodness here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this recap of the 97th Academy Awards. Want you all to know that I love you, continue to love everybody, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.